Another important one, this will probably be the last one for now, is the what about me rule. And, the illusion of competence talks about, and I talk about words on paper, how they have no meaning. Well, we all know that words have meaning in the context of when other people read them. They infer meaning from those words, regardless of what you infer from those words. I mean, we all know that the tone of your email. What do you mean the tone? I was writing an email. There wasn't a tone. It was words on paper. That's all that email was. But we all know that words have meaning, and certain words can be very, very hurtful when their intention was to be very complimentary. And the words that do that are the individual written compliment made in a public forum. And it can be as simple as, great job, Susie, on the whiteboard. Right? You did a great job this day, and you highlight on this metric. Well, other people see that, and their first thought is, what about me? They don't think, oh, that's good of Susie. They think, why wasn't I acknowledged? I did the exact same thing. And if you've been a store manager for any length of time, this has happened to you where your district manager will highlight 4 stores. They'll send an email for the day. They'll highlight 4 stores that did great on this metric, and they'll highlight each store. The district manager forgot your store. And what's the first thing you say? First thing you say is, what about me? What about my store? Why didn't you see my store? And so the goal was, hey, we're gonna pump these people up by complimenting these stores, and invariably one store gets left out and their feelings get hurt. Well, this doesn't just happen on one email. This doesn't just happen to one person. This happens across leadership because that compliment is taken at the most elemental level of emotional intelligence. That response is guttural. So when you get that unexpected compliment, you're like, hey, that feels great. And you can't help that feeling. Hey, that feels great. At the same time, when you don't get noticed and you have that what about me moment, it's automatic. What about me? Why wasn't I noticed? Why didn't you see what I did? And that consequence is so great that the illusion of competence says you never compliment a person in a public forum individually, meaning at the monthly meeting, you don't compliment an individual for doing great. You only compliment the team for being great, because that's the only thing that you care about. You can talk about the context of what people do well in a different context of, well, I'm going to have this person coach you because they're good at this job. That is where you do that piece of management. You don't start it with, well, this person does this great job to start with, right? That's not what you do, because you're going to miss the other people. And you see it at scale with companies that do that, where the CEO sends a compliment. LinkedIn loves the photo op. Oh my goodness. There are rewards programs that exist within companies solely so they can do the photo op when they go into the store and post it on LinkedIn. The Sharing Our Values Golden Ticket Award that the person didn't even know they were in the running in until you presented it to them and then said, hey, let's take a selfie, and it's, we did. That is something, as an illusionist, you cannot do. You want to compliment someone, you compliment them to their face, and you compliment them in writing on something that will never become a public forum, like the monthly one-on-one or the yearly review, something that by its nature is supposed to stay, is supposed to be kept a secret. Whatever. I hate when I forget words. But that's the only time that you issue the compliment is in person. Like barely on the phone is acceptable, right? Calling someone on the phone and saying, "Hey, great job," is barely acceptable compared to doing it in person, to their face, and in private. Those are the most important things, and that's part about building trust. When you compliment someone, when you build someone up, by its very nature, you're tearing down the people around you or around them, right? Because they see them placed up on a pedestal while they're down low. And when you're building trust with a team, you've got to do things to build that trust outside of the confines of what the company's doing. And it's not the company's fault that they can't get their employees engaged.